Joseph W. Brady describes the Mojave River Valley industrial market and shares Jim Wolf's Southern California industrial market analysis.
Explain. Well, the industrial market out here, Terry, is I mean it's actually gone crazy. So just this afternoon, and we're filming this in the really early part of October. We get an email from one of the cities. So the cities send out from their economic development department to the brokerage community and say, hey, we have a tenant that has a need to move in the area with 200,000 feet, and I just immediately replied, it doesn't exist. So our marketplace, 200,000 feet. So let's look at Southern California, okay? So everything below, really from Ventura County down. Ventura County has a very small industrial mix, but with LA County, Orange County, so LA County has 1 billion with a B square feet of industrial space. Orange County has about 250 million. San Diego's a shade less than 200 million. The Inland Empire, Riverside and San Bernardino counties, about 700,000. Okay, Imperial County is probably 6 to 8 million, so it's kind of real nominal. But when you look at Southern California, we have about 2 billion square feet of space, and it's still the hottest commodity out there. The industrial users will really pay whatever they need to in order to get in these buildings. But what we're starting to find down below, Pomona, I think Mira Loma, Corona are taking a look at moratoriums. I think Upland's got one that they're working on. A lot of the cities down below are saying, whoa. Too many big boxes, too many truck trips, and we've kind of had enough. So when you look at the market up here, and I go back to, we're in 2022, so go back to 2020, really about the time that they broke ground on the Modway building over in Hesperia. If you had talked to any broker up here that sold land, and there's probably 10 that really know what they're doing. I'm not going to name out my competitors, but there's 10 that they're very formidable competitors. And then we have some brokers from out of the area that are very formidable. An 80-acre piece like that was probably worth somewhere around $3 a foot. Okay, today, if you could find that, a developer from down below, he'd pay you 10 or 15 bucks, 20 bucks a foot. Doesn't matter. Why? Because the high mark was set in Ontario last year at $107 a square foot. Okay? So do the math. Okay? That's absolutely incredible amount of dollars for an acre of property. It got to $92 a square foot in Fontana. So as these big boxes came in and they assembled these parcels, they've literally pushed out everybody. So during the first 6 months of this year, we had more calls from trucking companies looking to come on up here. And brokers from down below, the experienced brokers, it was easy to say to them, I don't think that anybody wants to have a trucking yard next to a residential subdivision. So we've been honored that we represent one of the original families that bought the 800 acres on Hesperia Road and Bear Valley Road back in 1958. And we had 12 acres off of Ridgecrest that we're working on right now, right where Wert is, and where that 370,000 cubic yards of dirt that we helped broker with Skanska. And I probably could have sold that piece 15 times until Monday to trucking companies. Now, what I said to the brokers, and got into it with a broker probably about 4 months ago, he said, no, we're going to make an offer. We're going to go to the city. I said, you don't understand. He said, well, it's zoned them to heavy industrial. I don't think anybody in Spring Valley Lake, nor anybody in Spring Valley Ridge, or anybody that lives along that Ridgecrest corridor wants to see 50 trucks more a day coming down Bear Valley Road, turning left on Ridgecrest, and going in, and then sitting in a truck terminal and idling next to railroad tracks next to those homes up there. It just doesn't make political sense. So the trucking requirements have scaled down, but they're still on out there. So industrial, there are very few parcels of ground of 80 acres or more in any one of the cities up here, okay, including Barstow, that have full utilities. So we're looking at sewer, water, gas, electric. Now that doesn't mean that a developer, and we're looking at a deal right now through a broker I know very well down below, they're willing to pull the utilities a mile. They don't care. They don't care if they pay $10 a square foot, and they don't care if they spend $20 a square foot on the improvements, because they're getting the dollar. Okay, a brand new 1 million square foot building in the Ontario Fontana market right now gets $1.10 a square foot triple net. Okay, when you think about that, you've got a million. That's $1,200,000 a month in rent. When I first came to the high desert here, if you got 30 cents a square foot for a 10,000 square foot building, you had payday. Those are now $1 a foot. A great longtime friend, Jim Wolf, who was a CRE, really one of the smartest guys I've ever met. He worked for Dr. Gobar. He worked for Dr. Gobar for years with Alonzo. Jim called me back in February and said, Joe, I've done kind of an analysis. He says the Southern California industrial sector is one of the most dynamic industrial markets in the nation, if not the world. To better understand shifts within the region, Alfred Gobar Associates conducted a detailed evaluation of the 5-county region: Coachella Valley, Mojave River Valley, Antelope Valley, and the Oxnard Plain. The net absorption, okay, there was 53.2 million square feet of net absorption activity across the 5-county region in 2021, which exceeded the net absorption activity for the prior 3 years. Okay, so that tells you something. So think about it. You have 52 million feet in 1 year, and in the prior 3 years when we were in a rural economy, San Bernardino County accounted for 43.7 to 55% of the net absorption over the last 4 years. If anybody watching this has not been down through Moreno Valley, down the 215, and then ultimately out to 60 where the Skechers is, let me give a plug to Ito Benzivi. So Ito Benzivi owns, he has a full entitlement on a 3,000 acre project right next to Skechers on both sides of the 60 that will allow him 40 million square feet on the ground and 120 million feet in the air. So that means he could go probably 5 or 6 stories high with an industrial building, very similar to what they're doing down. Amazon's building the largest building that they've got in the world, and it's 4.3 million. It's down Cheatham. He's going to start, his plan was to start breaking ground next March, fully grading all the streets, curbs and gutters, all the utilities for 3,000 acres, $1 billion investment. And all the streets would be smart streets. So all the streets will allow trucks that are, basically driverless to be able to operate with them. So he's got that project there. But if you go back down the 215 through Moreno Valley and by Marsh Air Force Base and through Paris, you shake your head and go, where did all these buildings pop up? And these are not little 500,000 square foot buildings. You've got 1 million to 1.8 million to almost 2 million feet. San Bernardino County accounted for 56.4% of the consummated industrial land sales across the 5-county area for the last 4.5 years, with the Mojave River Valley submarket responsible for 36.4% of that. The Mojave River Valley market also accounts for 36.1% of industrial acreage currently in escrow or under contract through the 5-county region, followed by the Antelope Valley at 22.3%, Coachella Valley at 14.1%, and the Oxnard Plain at 4%. So you have companies like Covington, okay, that have come in here and they have strategically purchased. They've got a nice deal out of SCLA that we have facilitated. That closes fairly soon. And they have really positioned themselves as, I think, the premier developer out here outside of what Prologis has done, kind of off base. But they went into the Antelope Valley, and I think they didn't go in quietly. They went in boldly. A couple of years ago, they worked out a deal with the city of Palmdale, and they've got 7 million feet that they're entitling over on Avenue M and Sierra Highway. So they're positioned. Then Transwestern has come in, and they're through the leadership of Rick John down at Dom Commercial. They've got 3 million feet. So all of a sudden, you take a market like Palmdale, and you drop 10 million feet of new buildings in. There's kind of a new day. So the industrial market continues to move pretty well. I think the bigger challenge that we're going to have as a region, and I challenge my fellow brokers, and I challenge our city councils, all 5 city councils, our city managers, our planning commissioners, our economic development. We need to be sure we have the employees up here trained to go to work in those industries. As I've said before, if you look where Highway 395 and I-15 is, that split, and you go right above where the Pilot Travel Center is, which I did. I was proud to do that when George Newton was still alive. That was a 17-acre. That was the largest ground lease ever done up here in the high desert, 17 acres. If you look between those two, the triangle, up to Main Street, and then above Main Street on both sides of Highway 395, there's 11 million feet in the planning or approval stage for industrial. It's daunting. And then the Modway building was done, and now they've broken ground on the other two that are next to it. So the market looks really good and looks good for a really long time. I know that Southern California Logistics Airport, Tyson Chase with Prologis and Kim Schneider, they've got almost 6,000 worldwide corporate clients, so they're able to market directly to them. I understand they've raised the price of their ground substantially, and they're really not in a position. They don't like to sell; they really like to lease. So we see we see just continued great things in the industrial market.
And oh yes, that OPEC announcement.
So when the energy policy in our country is pathetic. When the first thing that Biden did when he came in, and was to get at Trump, was to cut off the gas pipeline, what did he do? The last time I checked, whether you like Trump or not is irrelevant. This is under Biden's watch. It's not under Trump's watch. When Trump was president, we were exporting oil outside of our country, and gas prices were competitive. So do I worry about me living a mile and a half away? Terry, this bites into everybody. Think about the 85 to 90,000 commuters a day that drive up and down that hill, okay? That they don't have a choice. So the tens of millions of dollars per month that are coming right out of the pocket of high desert or Mojave River Valley residents, that should be of some concern. Sending a stimulus check to us right before the election, come on. I mean, I think we all can figure out what that's all about, so it's kind of stupid. But Biden, I think, should be held accountable. And I really do believe now that November 8th is going to be a big calling. I think it's going to be a wake-up call for our country. And if people like $8 a gallon, so we'll find out if OPEC, we'll find out how strong the relationship is with our president, who has, I think, zero in foreign policy experience. I mean, they don't even they won't take his calls, in Saudi Arabia. But we'll find out tomorrow if they roll back 1 million barrels a day, we could be looking at $8 a gallon, and you're just going to stop people from doing all kinds of stuff. So I hope that whoever is watching this, reach out to your local elected leaders. I think that Jay Obernolte, our congressman, is doing just a great job. I mean, he understands. I mean, he's a businessman. Both him and Heather have done well and all that. But we can't continue to do this, or something's going to give, Terry. I think something's going to crack. So.